The constant thought that goes through my head lately, and it has a lot to do with me feeling like a fraud. Now, the reason I bring this up is because there's a disconnect with people feeling as though they don't belong. When I wanted to be in the Marines, I was never an active individual. I wasn't growing up shooting guns. It was completely contrary to my personality to go and even try that. But I guess at that point I was just so fed up trying so many different things that I wanted to try something at the opposite end of the spectrum to see that if it would transform me. When I was in boot camp, I felt like I didn't belong there. Everyone else was so muscular, so motivated, so dedicated to what they wanted to do. But me, I was struggling to complete the exercises. I ended up graduating boot camp, but then again, I had that tested when I went to the School of Infantry. And we went from in boot camp sleeping 8 hours to going to sleep 2 hours a night at School of Infantry. And I really had to think about if that's what I really wanted to do. Even after boot camp, when I finished, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back. I knew I had to come back to School of Infantry in order to go to my job from there. But I wasn't too sure why, because yet again, I felt like a fraud. I felt like I didn't belong there. When you see your sergeants and the drill instructors and the combat instructors, they just seem like they fit in there with their whole personalities, even their aesthetic look. It looks like that's where they're supposed to be. But me, I really didn't feel like I belonged there. I ended up doing my 4 years, and I wanted to belong so bad that I just became a yes person when I was in. But shortly after, I ended up losing my rank, and I had to yet again question if I was a fraud, if I was even supposed to be there. Like, why did I join? Why did I make these rash decisions, all to try to become a better person? I came back home. I went to school. I thought that it would be important to pick a career in something that I thought would be stable, so I picked psychology. But I noticed that I was missing out on all my classes, and for some reason my electives were music classes, and those were the only classes I showed up to. And what I had learned from that experience was I was trying to be someone who I was not for so long that I should try to go back to my roots. Therapy soon showed me that I had a lot of subconscious baggage carrying around, and I tried a lot of different things: NLP, hypnosis, the therapy I mentioned, psychiatry. But I realized I was just going in circles there. I just have to let go. The epiphany that I had was to just let go of everything. I was making life way too important, and I know that life in a way is not a game, but it is in a way also. If you give way too much importance to life, life has a quick way of showing you that you don't matter, that you're just a speck of dust in this universe, and it doesn't matter how you feel, if you feel like a fraud or not. In school, they used to tell us all the time that we could be whatever we want to be, and in a sense, that is true, but also behind every truth there is a lie. And the lie here being that we can't be everything that we want to be. To pick one thing and stick to it. Because I went in circles so much. I wanted to be a good son. I wanted to be a good church goer. I wanted to be a good Marine. I wanted to be a good psychology student. At the end of the day, I ended up being mediocre in all of the above, and I'm back where I started. All because of that feeling of me feeling like a fraud. What I've realized is that none of us belong on this earth. None of us were meant to be here by some cosmic evolutionary situation. It's it's happened that we are conscious that we are alive, and we are putting, or when I say we are, I mean I am putting too much importance to this thing called life. I think that the way that I'm living life isn't the way that I was meant to when I first began to realize that I needed to make something out of my life. None of us want to just be here. I realized, or just be here and die and not leaving any lasting impact. We went to the park this one time, and I had noticed that in this tree was carved like a bunch of different a bunch of different names. Like Tom was here, Bob was here, Roman was here. Like for some reason we wanted to leave our mark on the earth. Like I resonated with that. I could see why I wanted to make something of my life and be someone of importance. It is because I want to matter. All of us, we're going to die. We're going to die. That is an inevitable thing in this world. And at the end of it, in 100 years, who will remember us? No one. I mean, we might be lucky enough to have our name written down in the book of history, but even then it might be altered. Our true essence is gone. So I leave you with this. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters, and nothing is that important to lose your own sanity trying to be a person of importance. Even me sitting here and talking to this camera, like on the surface it looks like I want to be some type of influencer, but really I just want a platform for me to be able to be authentic and be myself, and at the end of the day look back on these and reflect and know. For example, Marcus Aurelius, who was an emperor of Rome a while back, he wrote himself a book of lessons but reminders at the same time, so that he can go back and remember the true meaning and essence of being a king. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And hopefully later, even if I could touch just one person, for them to realize that, man, none of this matters. And if you were to drop that down a bit, then maybe we can play. Like as a kid, we're in the playground and we're in that state of play. We're not in the state of work and let's do these charts and let's schedule what we're going to do at this time or nothing, because life is all a big playground. And it would be, even though it sounds stupid, it would be a lot better for us to live that way, to live the way as thinking that the earth is gentle, even though in some places it's not, but we can make it that way. That's the thing about this. The way the world is not set in stone. If it bothers us so much, then let's make a change. Let's make steps towards changing that. And that is what we can give back to the world. So that summarizes for what I have to say for today. So hopefully it resonated with some of you guys. If you haven't already, subscribe and comment down any thoughts that you guys have about this talk. Peace out.